What's poppin', y'all? The last thing I thought I would ever see this year was Adin Ross getting into a beef unintentionally with TDE, Kendrick Lamar's former record label. And this all started with an Adin Ross clip where he went in on Doechii, who is a TDE artist. She has that song Anxiety. And I'm gonna play you guys the clip right now.
Dude, I hope everyone... Oh, Doechii rant? Oh, dude, don't get me started on that, bitch. Hey, don't get me started on that, bitch. Don't get me started on that industry plant. Don't get me started. You guys can say shit, whatever you want about me, but one thing about me is I'm not an industry plant. I've been streaming for like a long time now. Doechii, the umbrella clip pissed me off. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro. She deserves, bro. I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel, why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it. She's just the worst. She's a piece of shit. She stole someone like that I used to know. She makes no good music. She's horrible. Jake Future, what's up, my dog? So fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Fuck Doechii. Okay? She has zero talent.
So this clip, you're probably like, damn, man, like, yo, what's got that energy in you? And that's exactly what I thought as well. I was like, yo, this is, you're really turned up about this. And this comes from his reaction to Doechii at the Met Gala, where she was talking to a bunch of workers that had to get her umbrellas together for her outfit to be revealed. I did a whole video on this. I'm going to play you guys just a clip of her, what some people believe is berating the workers, and then we're going to get into the rest of it.
Oh my God. Oh no, oh no. Yes, I'm ready. Give me another, no, stop. Oh, give me another umbrella, now. Another one, right there, and another one. I need another one.
Another umbrella.
Excuse me. I need four umbrellas.
Two more umbrellas.
Umbrella. Anybody? Right there.
Two more umbrellas.
I'm
so ready. Umbrellas.
Because they're going to try to sneak their umbrella. Anybody? Right there.
Two more umbrellas.
They said no. They said the lobby would be clear.
And do not let that guy with the car's out.
We're putting on it, and then you still have to wait. I don't know. Okay.
Why are we doing that? Great. Take a picture of the class right now and tell them to leave it.
Yeah, watch the step.
Watch the step. Shut.
Don't let her hair get wet.
Move these umbrellas. I don't want these people seeing me. I got it. Move the umbrella. Are you blocking it? Right now. Is your umbrella there? Yes.
You're blocked. You're blocked.
Yes.
Oh.
So if you want my whole analysis on that situation, it'll be in the pinned comment. I don't want to reiterate it, but I gave Doechii credit. I was like, listen, man, high stakes, high pressure situation. Sometimes people are going to yell. It's their first time. She's dealing with a lot of stress. Everyone's dealing with a lot of stress. But Adin Ross had a differing opinion, and he felt that, like, hey, people with 9-to-5s, people that are working regular jobs, people that are assisting you like this, it is highly disrespectful to treat them like this. And this is a take that I can get behind, because Adin Ross is somebody that's given so many opportunities. And it's not opportunities in the sense that where like artists are saying like, yo, you know, we're putting people on, and they're just putting on other artists. Like, Adin Ross is just handing out bags to people left and right. The people that Adin Ross hires, he overpays them to hell and back. Like a job that shouldn't get paid more than a couple $1,000s a month, Adin Ross is 10xing that salary. He's changed so many families' lives, giving out so much money. Now granted, I will say there is the other side of the poison where Adin Ross has gotten who knows how many people into gambling, and that will probably ruin the rest of their bloodline. It is what it is, but that guy has always been polite to everybody. I've never seen him yell at anybody, any fans. He's always been a stand-up guy too, especially in any dealings that me or any of the people that I know have had with him too. So that's one thing that people cannot take away from him, and I don't want people attacking that side. But this opinion by Adin Ross started to spread and get into hip-hop, and then this, I don't know why they're addressing it, and the reason why Adin Ross even addresses it is because his chat pushed him to it. But these clip pages start posting it, like Feared Buck, etc. And then Adin Ross gets on his alt account and says, "Cause Feared Buck and Ryan are my dogs. I got nothing but love for YesJulz, but I don't F with people mistreating hardworking, regular working people. I call it out and I'm real. Don't have to hide behind a mask. I own my own platform. Kick.com. He owns that platform. I own my own brands. I love women. I think this last part that he added in, you fell right into the trap at that point. When people start levying such a ridiculous accusation at you as like, oh, you hate this entire group of people, and then you start defending it, it's over. That's it. You're like, no, actually, I don't. You're better off saying, yeah, I do hate all of you, and I hate men, and I hate also a subspecies of animal, F PETA. You might as well say that. But this was in response to YesJulz, who has become so infuriating the past couple of years. And I'm somebody that I give YesJulz credit where she deserved her credit, which is what, like 2015 to 2016. And after that, let me just read her response. I'm getting my blood's starting to boil. It's starting to simmer, actually. How did we allow men to get this comfortable disrespecting women on such large platforms? Number one, it's his platform. He owns it. Number two, he built the whole audience, and he owns the platform where he's saying it on. That's number three as well. None of the three things that you do, by the way. And for him to call her talentless, is this rage bait? I can kind of understand this point, to be fair. Like, he's a streamer. I do think he's talented. I do think he's brilliant in terms of entertainment, curating entertainment, forecasting trends, capitalizing on trends. That's not easy. We're in an attention market, YesJulz, and you fell off the attention market. So clearly, how talented were you if you weren't able to keep your attention? You got kicked out of the whole Ye team, and you were trying to say like that Milo character was, I don't know, you were trying to get him ran out, but he got you ran out, and he's clearly still rolling with Ye for years upon years. And then she says she was literally co-signed by Lauryn Hill. His opinion means nothing. You know whose opinion means nothing? And it's the people that we don't respond to. And this is the problem. She was co-signed by Lauryn Hill. This is the problem. Like, people like YesJulz, I don't know if they're intentionally being obtuse, or they don't want to understand, or they're not trying to be open-minded. The fact is, who the hell is this chick to get co-signed by Lauryn Hill? And then she's Lauryn Hill's the first one to win a Grammy for rap album, and then it was Cardi B, and then it's Doechii. So she's the third woman to ever win it? That's what people are upset about. Well, one of the things that they can't quite grasp, and this is the problem, when you try to gaslight people and say, why do you think she's an industry player? And keep in mind, this is me being somebody that likes Doechii's music. I like the Alligator album. I was a little bit iffy about the Grammy thing. When I listened to all the Grammy albums, if we're talking about the quality of her album, I think it stands to win. It stands to win. It's an understandable decision if you have to choose between those. Now, the nomination is something else. However, I will still criticize her getting on the Timeless remix and these other moves that have been happening on social media. Listen, I've been watching hip hop for so long. I know you get an instinctive eye. You know what is fishy and what isn't fishy. And her come up is fishy, or her acceleration for sure is fishy. So the fact that she's co-signed by Lauryn Hill only assists people's point, which is, why the hell does Lauryn Hill know about her? Lauryn Hill hasn't. Who else has she co-signed? And that has nothing to do with her behavior. So what he's criticizing is her behavior. So YesJulz had nothing to do or had nothing to say about her behavior with those people at the Met Gala, but now that he calls her out, she's got something to say all of a sudden. And Adin Ross responds to her, and yeah, he's like, yo, this is the clipping culture. So they clip this out of context, it gets more engagement, and that's a double-edged sword if you want a mass audience. If you want a mass audience, you need clipping. And in order to get the most engagement from clips, they need to clip you out of context, which is going to generate a lot of hate, and you need to be able to take the hate. So for anybody that's trying to pursue this whole thing, learn where you want to sit. Do you want to be the most poppin' guy? Or do you want to just be chill and not be the most poppin', but do your own thing? Regardless, this started spreading to other hip-hop institutional people, you could call it. Peter Rosenberg, of all people, I don't want to get disrespectful, because Peter Rosenberg has never been disrespectful with me, but he's infuriating as well. He's not infuriating. He is passive-aggressive, entitled, and just feels like he's owed viewership, which is something that gets infuriating. And he goes on to say, when I made it to Hot 97 as a longtime DJ and true hip-hop nerd / historian, I had to fight and scrap for any respect, and I'm still hated on to this day. No matter how hard, I still go for the culture. Now it's 2025 and streamers who know nothing and do nothing get away with anything. Well, Peter Rosenberg, if you or anybody else owned the radio waves, which they're owned by the government. But if you owned the radio station and you got on there and you owned the mics and you owned everything and you got on there and said whatever you said, you could get away with it too. But you had to satisfy your boss. You had to satisfy people whose opinion you cared about. That's also something Adin Ross doesn't care about. Peter Rosenberg wants to be liked so badly. He wants to be appreciated so badly. So that also shapes what comes out of his mouth and his opinions. And Adin Ross doesn't care. That's simply it. And what do you mean by get away with? Like, do you want some harm to come to him? He did nothing but just say his opinion. It's not like he even knows her personally. I will say, like, it was quite harsh. But his reaction is not just he didn't listen to the Doechii Timeless remix and go off like this, which some people, they might think that. And this is also another thing where people are talking about intelligence, because we might get into this in another topic, because Fantano calls this guy stupid, which is ironic. Because, yeah, if you're going to call this guy stupid, how smart are you for not realizing that your emotions were piqued by a clip channel? Anytime your emotions get piqued by a clip, an intelligent person would say, hold on. Why am I getting pissed? What's the actual context behind this? Look up the actual context and then see if they want to address something. And if they don't want to look up the actual context and they're like, man, this is not even worth my time, then don't respond to it. That's my policy. 99.9% of the time. You know, we all fall for it every now and then. But, like, for instance, if somebody is talking about, I don't even know. Who's somebody, I don't even know who I wouldn't address because I don't even see their stuff. But yeah, YesJulz, another tweet, and she tweeted and deleted these. People just need to start suing the ish out of these incels, starting with me, actually. Almost forgot to follow up with my lawyer on that other idiot. Thanks for the reminder. This just makes you... What's also infuriating is people using words, the definitions of words, not knowing the definitions of words and completely using them incorrectly. And what are you going to sue him for? For having an opinion on the girl's music or the girl's personality? Where is the slander? This is why YesJulz attempted to do the whole family lifestyle, get married to an NFL player, have a kid, and then, I don't know, he left her, cheated on her, whatever the case may be. That fell apart. She tried to come crawling back. And then the way that she was treating the streamers, actually, even like, I think it was Sneeko and Neon and some other people, the way that she was treating them was, frankly, quite disgusting. Like, she was somebody that would likely treat people poorly. And then she gets kicked out of that situation, and now she's just trying to claw her back. And I remember she was previously trying to talk about, like, you guys don't know how much I did for the scene. Nobody cares. This is the thing. Like, when it's all said and done, nobody that wasn't there for your time and really tapped in will ever say the name YesJulz and associate it with anything positive in the music industry. That's it's sad because she has done some things, but that is the actual state of the world. And then Jeremy Hecht, who is a co-host with DJ Head, who was the spokesperson, you could say, for Kendrick Lamar and The Beef in this new podcast that they put together. These podcasts they're money printers. They're the opposite of money printers. They're money pits. So somebody is just funneling money into this. Maybe they got some sponsors. The podcast doesn't really make money. It doesn't generate views, but it's institutional. And he says, I'm not going to repost that streamer's rant, but it's funny how these guys love calling women out of their name rather than stating their opinions eloquently. That, to me, is the definition of unintelligence and entitlement. This guy doesn't know what entitlement is. What is Adin saying? Entitlement means you expect something. Or, yeah, you expect to receive something. What does he expect to receive? If anything, it's Doechii in this instance that is being entitled and, expects people to cater to her every whim, which they are supposed to do their job, like I said. And then saying this streamer, but not, it's doing this tiptoeing thing. And then DJ Head says, gonna come back to this later. And then YesJulz, another tweet that she put out was, Kai and Speed are cool, positive guys. So I get the hype there. They're cool, positive guys. Are you at all familiar with how Speed blew up? Positive is not the definition of it, which just goes to show, stay in your lane. Like, Speed got banned from Twitch for one of the craziest jokes that had everybody like looking around the room. Like, yo, did you really just drop that joke? It was with Ash Cash. I'm not gonna play that clip for you guys. So she's a fool here, and Speed was a teenager while this happened, like 16, 17. He says, but these losers who sit on a computer trashing women and people they have never even had a conversation with, how are they gonna have a conversation with this person? Like, you think like, yo, Doechii, like let's dap it up and talk about this. What? Having an audience of hundreds of thousands of people tune in to watch it live, we have lost the plot. Please touch grass. You will never change what people are interested in. Like, get the hell out of here with that. And I will give some respect to Adin Ross too, because he doubles down on this whole situation. And in this clip, he says what he has to say.
It's not race, it's not gender, guys. I come at everybody. I don't care what gender or race you are. If you're disrespectful to a 9-to-5 hardworking person, it pisses me off. It's a pet peeve. You're a multimillionaire getting mad and raging and yelling at 9-to-5 workers. It's bullshit. It's wrong. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna call it out for what it is. Have patience. You're blessed to be making millions of dollars doing something you love in this world. So why do you can't have a little bit of patience or calm? Pop a fucking Xanny if you need to. No, I'm drugs. But for real, like, fuck. So all these people want to make it about race. It's just horrible. Stop doing this bullshit. This is the problem with the internet. It's like, it just makes it really, really fucked. You know, it makes it really, really fucked. It really does. It's just like, that's just how it is. So, I don't know how Doechii is as a human being. I don't know, and I don't really, like, care. I'm sure she doesn't care how I am as a human being. She probably wants to kill me. I don't give a fuck. Whatever she wants to do. She probably wants to smack me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm gonna double down and just repeatedly, again, I'm not folding. It was trash. It was whack.
So respect to Adin Ross for doubling down on his opinion and clarifying. This clarification is very, very important because now these people that are coming at him, hopefully you get the context and maybe you address the situation, because how about you address none of them? And this is where people get frustrated, because when DaBaby was acting like this, you guys remember when DaBaby was acting like this to the flight attendant and he was talking about her hair and like, yo, how are you going to come on this private jet with your hair like that? Everybody had an opinion on it because DaBaby was kicked out of the industry at that point. I think damn near. So they all had an opinion on it. But when Doechii does this, none of them have anything to say. They just jumped past it. And this fuels the frustration that people have towards y'all, more institutional industry people, because you're not addressing that, but you're jumping out to defend Doechii. So it's just like this feedback loop where people are like, yo, we can't even give an opinion about this lady without being attacked by all of these other people. And then when she does something that's worth remarking on. Now, I'm not saying it's worth attacking her or worth diminishing any accomplishment that she has. What she did at the Met Gala was worth remarking on, and they didn't remark on it. That leads people to believe, okay, what the hell is going on here? Is this like some secret club that we're not a part of and you guys are not allowed to talk about her? Or you guys get a lot of benefits from only speaking positively of her and defending her and looking past anything else that may warrant some criticism? Because that's what we're looking at it like. And then Punch comes out to levy some threats, I will say that for the third time. He says, these internet guys are really going far. It's a difference between entertainment and being disrespectful. I understand it's certain people's brands to say the things they say, but it's going to go somewhere else. Eventually, everyone will see each other. No threats. Let's just keep it cool and respectful. This is... yeah, eventually it'll go. And this is the thing. Punch, you didn't address it. Doechii addressed her situation with the Met Gala, and it was snarky. And it was like maybe the quirky girls, they like it, but people didn't really appreciate her response to it either. But here he's going and threatening Adin Ross. And was she not being disrespectful to those people? That's what some people interpreted it as. You didn't have anything to say there. So you threaten this guy, Adin Ross, and it just makes you guys look worse. And academics responded to this. And to be fair, right, like academics has a gear to grind with TDE. He's doesn't really like Kendrick Lamar. I don't think he hates Kendrick Lamar, but TDE clearly, I will say this, TDE hates academics at this point in time. Maybe they have like some sort of diplomatic relationship for business reasons, of course, but they hate him. So I understand why he's probably like not too big of a fan of them. But he gives his own take on this situation and why there's a lot of frustration towards Doechii. I'm gonna play you guys that clip.
When you see a newer artist seemingly getting every accolade, every award, being pushed, and you can't even identify her fan base, right? The thing about most artists, you could be like, oh, that's the Cardi Hive, that's the Barty fans, that's the Nicki Barbs, that's the OVO stands or whatever, no disrespect to them. But you could see it. With Doechii, people feel like it's the industry saying, if you're a good person, and I think this is why people are so opposed to her. Not everybody, because she does have a wave. So many people feel like they have to speak out against her, right? Because me, at this point, I'm like, if she's not my cup of tea, I just won't say nothing. Like, I don't feel she's that offensive, right? But some people feel like they got to speak out about her because they feel the industry is constantly throwing her in our face. She's on the cover of this. She's on this. She's on this. She's on that. She's on this. She's on that. She's on this. She's on that. And it's one of those things where they're like, yo, people are very smart. they're very perceptive. They're like, I know how hot you got to be to get these looks. And they're like, why do y'all all keep telling us this girl is hot without us telling you she is? And that's where a lot of people are coming for.
And this is facts. This really encapsulates why the majority of hip hop has a frustration with her. And I said in the previous video, which you guys have to watch this in the comments, is where my theory is that this is the initial hate campaign, I believe, was manufactured to get two opposite sides, because you build a fan base stronger when there's a hate base they can fight against. But Academics goes on to say how he first ever heard of Doechii, and this is where this one killed me. This one had me dying, because then it made me think, okay, this is one of the first industry artists in hip hop we've seen in a long time then.
And I probably should have used my man's name, but I'm going to use my man's name. My man over at Spotify, Carl Cherry. I heard about Doechii for the first time ever in life by Carl Cherry. That's a problem. If I'm a guy who I'm around many different people, and the first person in life to tell me about Doechii is a guy who runs Rap Caviar. Now, again, I'm not saying he's not looking into a different side of hip hop and he saw her organically grow. What I'm saying is that for the people that's like me and others, we're like, Doy what? Who what? That's a messaging problem, okay? And by the way, you get, like, I'm always a little bit weary. If I hear about an artist from the label before the fans, I usually do think industry plan. I hear about it from a DSP or someone who works at a DSP rather than the fans, I usually do think industry plan.
Now, this even got my head spinning. What? The first time you heard about it is from Carl Cherry? And the reason for that is, number one, Carl Cherry runs Rap Caviar, the biggest hip-hop platform, the biggest hip-hop playlist on Spotify, like potentially in the world, if you're not counting like maybe Chinese streaming platforms, and you're hearing about it from her. And some people will say, well, Academics is always so late to artists. No. He may be late in talking about them because it's not his incentive to talk about underground artists. He's given them free promotion at that point. When an artist gets lit enough, he will cover them and he will talk about them. That's his job. But for instance, Ken Carson, people were spamming Academics about Ken Carson when he had that album cover of him laying on the floor, and like not laying on the floor, laying on that grass lawn. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like I don't know. I think it was face down that he was laying on that, and people were like, "Yo, Ken Carson," and he's like, "Dude, what the hell is a Ken Carson?" And then maybe a year later, he gets mentioned again, and then he's like, "Yo, who's like, what the hell is a Ken Carson again?" And then he was getting told about Destroy Lonely. So he frequently hears about these artists. Maybe he just doesn't tune into them until he hears about them multiple times, and that's like a lot of us. Like for instance, someone tells you about an artist, or you hear about them once, and you're like, okay, twice, 3 times, 4 times. There, yo, I'm missing out on something. Let me check this out. That's what happened with Doechii, but it was as if you saw her on TV and all these not album covers and the Grammys, and you're like, wait, what the hell? Where I missed out on the part where people were supposed to tell me about her, or maybe like small blogs, or maybe a TikToker here and there, or maybe a reply to a comment. And you know, any comment related to hip hop, people are like, yo, underrated artist, like you got to check out Doechii. And that is the big problem. But I don't think this is going to change. I don't think Adin Ross was right in but this is the thing too. Adin Ross thinks he's kicking it with his homies. He doesn't think he's on live to millions of people talking to the hip hop audience when he's saying what he's saying. And it makes its way there. So while I do disagree with what he said, like he didn't have to go at her that viciously, I am more, not frustrated is the word, but I find it more disrespectful that many of the people are fervently attacking Adin Ross for his statements and defending Doechii, but didn't find the care in their heart to potentially defend the people working for Doechii and her attacking people and giving their opinion on that, even if it was to defend her. Like if they gave some, like I said, I'm a guy that defended her. People in my comment sections were lighting me up like, yo, come on, you can't co-sign that, you can't let that fly, that's rude. But I'm just being fair in the situation. Like I understand how it gets, or like I've never personally done that, but high pressure situations, like people crack. Not everyone's ready to handle that, especially knowing that she gets so much criticism. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.